Let me say something plainly. Most of what you see in the online coaching and self-help world is just the mind, trying to fix the mind. And that approach will only take you so far. I've been in the online world for quite a long time now, for more than 10 years. And during that time, I've worked as a coach with people navigating some very difficult terrain: addiction, disordered eating, trauma, grief, loss, betrayal, despair, estrangement. And along the way, I've worked with a lot of other coaches, as well as with people who run entire companies, helping them to build communities of support, brick and mortar, program by program, forged over more than a decade. And I have to say, all of them are very caught up in the content of the mind. Sometimes it comes dressed up as science, sometimes as a new hack, sometimes a new modality, and most often it's the same sheep dressed up in new clothing. Empty promises wrapped up in language that caresses you, that's meant to make you buy, and in a way enslave you to the tyranny of the mind and its constant needs of figuring, evaluating, and fixing. And I want to say something clearly. That world of the mind, the one of strategy and analysis, can be incredibly compelling. So seductive, so entrancing, in fact, that I've had people challenge the way that I coach. And why would that be? Because I generally don't tell people what to do, and I don't pass out a lot of advice unless you really push me for it. What I do first is I meet people where they are with kindness and compassion. I meet people in their experience. I meet myself in my experience as well. Because that space of meeting transmits something incredibly important in this world of hacks, of quick fixes, and next new deal. There's some things you'll want to be aware of in your own life. Nothing is going to budge, not really, until you start to receive or experience a sense of safety, a sense of refuge. Being met without agenda creates a very safe space to be exactly where you are, especially if you've spent years trying to employ hacks that never quite stick, with all the shame and sense of being wrong that comes with that. And when someone is truly met, when you are truly met, witnessed, and heard, awareness begins to appear as the fog slowly lifts off of a pane of glass. And in that clearing, capacity appears. Naturally occurring capacity. The core truth is that the field of awareness is capacity. And you cannot find that capacity with the thinking mind. You cannot push yourself into it with another hack, piece of science, or self-help. You can simulate it for a while, but it won't stick. And I'm not speaking about this as some kind of abstract idea. I'm speaking about lived authority, my lived authority, your lived authority, perhaps. I've spent years sensing into this, living it, and watching it unfold in my own life, watching myself getting caught up in the persuasive intoxication of the thinking mind. And after the last 5 years of trauma, grief, loss, betrayal, estrangement, serious health challenges, the fire, awareness in me bloomed. Not because I thought my way there. Awareness just became undeniable. I saw it through the lived action of my own life, in the capacities that began to emerge and the decisions that I began to make. I saw this in my own coaching clients as well. Then there's the very real difficulty of teaching this, the real challenge of trying to put language around something that is fundamentally experiential. There's no language for that, because when the mind gets a hold of it, it can start to crumble again, and the mind, quite honestly, isn't going anywhere. It's like trying to offer water to a horse that believes it needs more thinking to solve its thirst. That's a tall order. Perhaps what we're really speaking about is a constant sort of coming home, not forcefully, but a gentle dropping into. The ancient truth that keeps getting lost, and I know I'm not the first person to speak about this. Philosophers, contemplatives, and teachers have pointed to this for centuries. Somehow the insight keeps getting buried again and again in what I sometimes think of as the garbage dump of the mind. Let me be clear about the role of the mind in all of this. The mind is not the enemy. The mind is something we learn to hold, the way we might hold a puppy dog on a leash. That imagery comes from Stephen C. Hayes, the creator of ACT and relational frame theory, someone whose work I respect. The mind is not the thing that should be pulling the sled. The big reminder, and let me say this clearly as clearly as I can today as well. Don't put the cart before the horse. The real work, if it can be called work, is learning to return to conscious awareness. Not another thought process about awareness, but touching down into that which has always been there, developing our ongoing orientation to that which is here, right now. In our framework, awareness is the context. Your North Star, what you always come back to, comes first. Not some hack or bit of science or self-help. When you orient to that context, power appears. It appears in the form of capacity. Capacity allows us to stand in choice points, informed by conscious awareness. We then have the capacity to take action in ways that are infinitely meaningful. We have the capacity to live our lives again. And from that place, you can use whatever hacks you like. In some ways, that part is kind of beside the point, though, because when things won't move in your life for whatever reason, there's only one place to go back to. Back to conscious awareness, always. Because conscious awareness will always give you back your capacity to choose and take action, even when your mind is screaming with noise. And the honest part here is that, yes, this does require some work. The mind will wander. It'll do what it does. You'll lose the thread. And when that happens, there's only one thing to do. Come back to awareness. So in many ways, it's not really work at all. It's more a returning to that which has always been there, something we have somehow learned to cast aside, usually at the insistence of the mind. And the final truth, awareness is where capacity lives. And that capacity never comes from a hack or from science. Hacks come later, if they come at all. Stay with me here. I need you all as you might need me. Thank you for being here today. I'll see you soon.